The whole pickpocketing media frenzy in Europe is a perfect snapshot as to why Russia thinks they could do whatever they want to the rest of the continent and suffer no reprisals. There are brave and badass Americans who violently react to being pickpocketed, and Europeans, not all of them, but too many, are surprised and even offended that Americans are doing it. This is why Europe is so weak. I'm excluding Ireland and most of Eastern Europe from this, so if you're not part of the exclusion, yeah, you're part of the problem. You entitled little babies don't like the idea of pickpocketing, you don't like being pickpocketed, but you will do nothing to stop it. And sometimes when violence is the answer, you run away from that option. And all of you guys in Western Europe perfectly embodied that cowardly mentality when Russia invaded Crimea, which is Ukraine, in 2014, and you kept buying their oil and natural gas. In fact, you built more pipelines to connect to that country. I've met so many people from Portugal, from Spain, Italy, a bunch of Frenchies, and even British people who remark on how Americans are just this violent people, yet you say nothing about your distant Eastern European cousin, Russia, with a much bloodier history than anything America has ever done. And that's because Western Europeans, with the exception of Ireland, you're not fighters anymore. You haven't been for a very long time. Even to World War II days, when you were appeasing Germany, when you knew full well what they were doing. And the only reason why these Western Europeans aren't shouting to appease Russia as soon as possible is because they are under the umbrella protection of NATO. And NATO is primarily led by the United States, and we clearly see you don't pick America's pocket. And don't get me wrong, I do not approve of our president's lenient attitude towards Russia, but has Russia breached any NATO territory once this man was elected? No. And the only countries that have thoroughly taken the Russian threat seriously are Poland and all the countries along the Eastern European border with that country. Of course, Finland too. Those countries saw the signs a long time ago and they started investing heavily in their defense early, much like Germany, France, the UK, Spain, and Italy should have, but they were too busy trying to have their top tier quality of life to actually recognize what the heck was going on. And now your mythological level bubble of peace and prosperity, which was only brought into being because of the countless generations of exploitation you have done to the world, is coming to an end, and you're coming to a harsh reality that you don't have all the resources that you need, and you have a neighbor, or not really a neighbor, but somebody who is not too far off, who wants to take everything you have, and you haven't done anything really to prevent it. And for those of you who want to call me an entitled American, I grew up so poor that even the people on welfare made fun of how broke my family was. I just worked my way up. I am the Geo Husar, and Western Europe needs to start acting like Eastern Europe just a little bit. Thanks for watching.